Welcome everyone. I'm Claire LeBeau. I'm the Chief Advancement Officer for NASEF. We are the network of academic and scholastic esports federations. It's the only time you're going to hear me say that whole phrase because it's a mouthful, so we'll just stick with NASEF from here on out. We work to leverage esports and video gaming and kids' interest in video gaming to help them learn a ton of career pathways and different things that they can do connected to esports, maybe not necessarily gaming. So we have a fantastic stream today. I'm so excited to share with you. I'm actually going to introduce Riley first. Riley, you want to just let everybody know who you are and what you do?
Yeah, hi, I'm Riley Solinger. I'm part of the marketing team for Venture Valley. I do the Venture Valley social media.
All right, awesome. And we have a special guest today, Josh. So, Josh, you want to give us 2 seconds worth, and then we'll come back around to what you do after just a moment here.
Definitely. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Claire. Josh Benzing. I'm the CEO and co-founder of 404 Creative, and we're a game developer studio that specializes in making games inside Fortnite. So, yeah.
I met Josh at a trade association event earlier in, I guess it was over the summer, and just thought we absolutely have to figure out a way to get Josh in front of our students because I know the opportunity to spend your life making games inside of Fortnite sounds like a pretty good career path for a whole lot of students. And I think the parents and the educators also will be interested to hear how you make a living at that. So really excited to have you here today. Just as an overview, Venture Valley is a fantastic game that teaches entrepreneurship. And so we have partnered up with their organization to offer a NASEF Beyond the Game challenge. We're in the middle or wrapping up the fall season now. We're also going to do this again in the spring. So if you are catching this now and you have not entered and you don't think you have time, you do. But if you really don't have time, then in the spring, we're going to do this again. So we've got 2 seasons for you to experience, which is great. And just to give you a quick view of what Venture Valley is like, I am going to share a video. So take a look at this. Here we go. That is a great overview of what this is all about. And I love the llamas. When I bring my friends along, I hope they all look like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Beyond the Game challenges, the idea behind this is to give everyone a chance to practice some skills that are applicable in the real world and still have a competition and still have fun. So we have right now the Venture Valley Beyond the Game challenge going on, and I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen real quick and show you all what this looks like. If you have not visited the page yet, it is nasef.org/venture-valley. And you can see here, we've got all the details, everything you need in one simple page on our website. So if you scroll on down, we have the details, the idea of what you're trying to do. You're going to play this fantastic game. And when you do, you're looking to get the top scores in one of 3 categories, or maybe you want to go into all 3 categories. I don't know. One of the categories is the highest business valuation. The second is the most revenue generated. And the third is that you sold the most product. And so as you play and you strive to get those top scores, then you're going to submit those on our leaderboard. And then we're also going to have you submit a video using Flip, which is a free app, to tell us what you learned in playing the game. Or you could answer some questions in writing if you prefer. And when we get to the end of the stream today, just in case you have questions, we're going to run real quick through all of those details. But feel free to hop on over to the webpage, and of course, make sure you're seeing important things like the prizes that we have available, because who doesn't want to win an Amazon gift card for school supplies because they entered and won a competition? So check this out. We've got all kinds of tips and tricks for you, and the timeline, and then of course official rules. So take a look again, nasef.org/venture-valley. So with that said, we're going to just go ahead and jump into the conversation. Josh, we so appreciate your being here. Tell us a little bit about 404 Creative. What does your company do?
Definitely. So like I said before, we are a game developer studio and we make games in Fortnite. And so this kind of started back in around 2018 when the world's most popular game at the time, Fortnite, and Epic Games, who created that game, decided to create this new game mode where instead of playing Fortnite, you could go in and make your own version of Fortnite, a fun little sandbox mode where you can go make whatever you wanted, and play that with your friends. And so I immediately found an interest in that. I didn't study game design. I didn't go to school for that. I didn't even do that at all, but I was just very interested in that opportunity in Fortnite. So I jumped in right away, started making my own games by myself. It was very easy. It was very fun. And then it turned into an opportunity through a publishing monetization program that they had in place. So once I learned what that was all about, it looked like just continuing to do that, make the best games possible. Then I met a bunch of like-minded people that were making games probably better than me. And it just clicked from there. We started working together. And then we all kind of mutually recognized the business opportunity there. So we put our heads together, decided to do this. I have a background in business management and accounting. That's what I studied when I went through high school and college. So I kind of had that background to kind of take over that role of forming a business together. So now we've been doing that for a couple of years now. We work directly with Epic Games. We work with other big brands that want to showcase their brand inside Fortnite. So yeah, it's been a fun ride for the last couple of years.
That's awesome. Okay, you used a phrase in the beginning of what you're saying there, a publishing monetization program. Can you translate that for us? What does that mean?
So originally it was the Support a Creator program, and it worked differently, where players that were playing the games that I published on Fortnite, if they liked it, they could choose to put my personal creator code into the Fortnite item shop. And then every time you go buy new Fortnite outfits, then I get a small percentage of the profits from that. And it worked really well. It was a great way to earn and, create a revenue stream. But the big change was here during this year at the Game Developers Conference when Epic Games announced their new creator monetization system, which now is them taking a massive chunk of their revenue every month that they make off of Fortnite, and they're giving that back to creators based on the number of players that we get in our games, how long they're playing them, things like that. So we're able to more reliably figure out what we're going to earn based on how well our games perform on this platform. So, when we publish something and we start seeing a lot of players in it, then we have a good idea that it's doing well and that we're going to make some money off of it.
Well, and this is how you make your living, right? Day to day. This is your job.
Yep,
yes.
Definitely.
So it's very important that you're going to make some money off of it, right?
Yeah. Yep. And that's the biggest risk of it all. But we mainly focus on creating branded games. So clients will come to us and they'll hire us to create a game that, has their brand incorporated with it so that we can, they can publish it. And then their loyal fans that may be playing Fortnite then can have a fun, engaging experience that's associated with those brands. So that's what we specialize in terms of generating revenue. That's where it comes from. That's our safe, solid foundation. And whenever we find time, we publish our own games, put them in through the system, and see how they do compared to the rest of the options that are out there for players in Fortnite.
That's really cool. Are you allowed to share some of the brands or some of the games that you have done? Can you tell us something?
Definitely. We've done a lot of projects with Epic Games as partners with Epic. Most notably is the Rocket League and Fortnite collaborations. So to highlight the RLCS, the Rocket League Championship Series, which is one of the best esports out there, in my totally non-biased opinion. We worked with Epic to create a space inside Fortnite where players could join in. Fortnite players could join in and they could watch these live stream broadcasts of these Rocket League pros playing in the tournaments. So that was a lot of fun. We've done that over the last couple of years for all their majors for 2022 and 2023. And also the team over at Rocket League, also owned by Epic Games, they wanted to bring their very iconic Octane Rocket League car into Fortnite for creators to be able to use them in making their own games. And so we helped them with that transition, what it would look like for creators to use this car, what kind of features do we need. So we worked very closely with the developers who are making that happen. And then along with it, we created some showcase games to launch when the car arrived in game to show other creators and players, this is what you can do with this. Here are the fun opportunities for this new Rocket League car inside of Fortnite.
That sounds really cool. So describe the difference between being an entrepreneur and an employee, because right now it sounds like you're doing a lot of projects for Epic. So just help clarify that for students who might be thinking, I'm not sure how this is different from actually working for Epic Games.
Definitely. So really it's just carving your own path. That's the basic definition. And I'm smart. I made sure to Google the word entrepreneur today before our call, just to make sure. Okay. Because it's a little bit of an imposter syndrome kind of thing, where now I realize that, hey, I am an entrepreneur. I'm doing this now. This is my life now. And it wasn't necessarily something I sought out, but it was just in how this opportunity came up and I decided to go for it. And it's taking that risk in doing something that's new, carving the way, bringing others with you as well, and leading a group of people along with you. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. And to me, it's all about my team. It's all about supporting everybody that is doing a lot of the development work for us. And I am just trying to pave the way and take care of as much things as I can in front of them that they don't need to deal with, so that they can do the fun stuff and the passionate stuff that everybody sees.
So give me an example of the things that you take care of so that the others can focus on what they're doing.
So as an entrepreneur, I mean, there's a number of things like that you need to take care of, especially when setting up a business. So you got to think about business insurance. What kind do you need to make sure that you're covered? And you also got to think about, of course, your finances. You got to be on top of that. Definitely always managing, where's the money coming from? Where is it going? Are we profitable? Are we not? What needs to change there? You also need to manage the employees that you have and take care of payroll. There's a lot of different hats that you have to wear in a position like this, and a lot of responsibilities that come up. But it's always very rewarding to get those set in place, and to see that, okay, now that's taken care of. Let's move on to the next thing to check off the box and keep this train moving.
Did you have any specific training for this, or are you learning as you go along?
Nope. I think I'm doing what most people are, but they just don't. They don't. They don't mention it. Maybe is that we're just winging it.
Yeah.
that's all that everybody's doing in this life. But it's just making good use of the skills that you have from the what you have experience with, and using that the best way you can to do whatever comes up in front of you. So it's been a huge learning curve for me. Luckily, I had the right education in my past to give me that foundation that I needed to understand the whole concept of what a business looks like, how would it function, what are all the pieces that need to be a part of that, and how to put that together the right way to make sure that it doesn't just topple over immediately. So, it's just like Jenga, you got to build it up so it doesn't, fall apart. Certain pieces in the wrong spot or certain things that are missing, and you end up with a big pile of blocks at your feet.
Totally. And I think that's a really unspoken rule of entrepreneurship, is all the trial and error and just kind of winging it too. What do you like most about being an entrepreneur, Josh?
Definitely, definitely my team. Everybody that I do it all for them. I do none of it for myself. I have a personal tie to it as well. I'm sharing the risk, but the reward is for everything that I do is definitely in being able to look back on the team and all the work that they're doing, and that they are being supported, and that they're also able to have a full-time career in their hobby, essentially, which not very many people are lucky enough to be able to say in their lives. So being able to help them with that opportunity and keep that going for the future, that's what keeps me going.
I love that you said that. I very often tell students every morning I wake up and I'm excited to do my job. Not everyone can say that. And I'm going to say actually a really tiny sliver of the population can say that. So if you can figure out a way to connect what you love with what you do to make a living, 100% go for it. And that's what NASEF, that's what all of our challenges are about, or trying to figure out what is that sweet spot for you and how can you pursue that. How, is there something you can do? Can you be the next Josh, like start up a game development studio, or whatever it might be? If you like physical therapy and you love gaming, I mean, you could be a physical therapist working with pro teams, for example. There are all kinds of opportunities, and so it's exciting to hear you talk about that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So how about just day to day? You said your team, and you prioritize them, which is fantastic. That's another thing we can tell the students. If you're able to have a boss like Josh, you should, because someone who prioritizes their employees that much is fantastic. It doesn't always happen that way, but I have no doubt that's coming completely from the heart, Josh, just having met you and interacted a bit before today. So what kinds of things do you decide? You want to prioritize your employees, but what are other things that you take into account? Because I think there's some overlap here between what you do day to day and what we're doing in our challenge in Venture Valley.
Yeah. So the decisions that I need to make, well, really, I do go through with a lot of the decisions, but I also refer back to my team on a lot of the decisions, them being just as much a part of this as I am. I always want to make sure that every step that we take is one that they are comfortable with, and that, at least the majority of them agree with. Sometimes it's very difficult to get a lot of people to agree to things. So I mean, it just looks like finding the right place, where it just makes the most sense. So, but most of the decisions that I'll be making will be, based on our financials. What kind of costs can we afford? What costs are necessary for us to continue operating our business? And then when things come up, like for us, now with games in Fortnite, we're able to make use of the Unreal Engine marketplace that is full of all these game development assets that can be used for all these crazy games outside of Fortnite or even for building Fortnite itself. So sometimes we utilize that to, purchase these things created by other very talented artists and people out there, and utilize those for our games. So does it make sense for the game, and what is the cost of it? Will we be able to cover that cost, and what we think we're going to be able to earn from this? Things like that. So
That makes sense. How do you handle things like deciding how many projects to take on, and how do you manage projects within your team, that sort of thing?
that's a great question. It's a constantly changing thing, because not any two projects are not the same. They're always different. Some of them are simple. We're able to make them quickly. Some are not. They require more hands. They require more time, and they're much more complicated. So really, it's just managing the team and the work that they're doing, and make sure that you're staying conscious of what's on everybody's plate at the moment, so that nobody's getting overworked, and that we are utilizing all of the skills that we have across the team. So we don't have somebody sitting around not doing anything. So that we're utilizing all that talent that we have, to make sure that we're doing as much as we're capable of doing, but not too much. So for us, it's just, we're looking at the terms that we're setting in place for these contracts that we're signing with clients on games we're making for their brand, and forecasting in the future. What does our timeline look like for that? Who's working on it? Once we're done with that, what's next for those guys or gals, whoever is working on this? And then based on what we're seeing coming up, will they have time in between that? Maybe we can get a group of them together and go make something real quick for the team. And it just constantly managing what's going on at any time. Definitely very helpful to have somebody that's dedicated to that, like a project manager. So if you're out there, you might have a career in front of you. Just saying.
That's for sure. It sounds a little bit. I had a conversation with my son last week. He's a college student, and he has, it's the middle of the semester. He has all these projects that are going to be due at the end of the semester. He's got midterms right now. He's already thinking about finals. He has a job. It's an internship. He's figuring out how much can I commit to there. And so, I mean, some of these skills that you're learning in high
Mhm.
school, even and college, that are just basic time management, those carry through all the way, don't they? All the way into how do I figure out how much time is it going to take to finish this thing, allocate
Definitely.
time to that thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, I through my experience, through even before high school and through high school, I even found that like my involvement in athletics and sports, and that was very important as well. Like working on a team, because that's what it's like once you get out into the workforce, and hopefully you have the opportunity to be able to do a job that you're super passionate about, or even pave your own path like I have and create your own job opportunity. But in either scenario, the way that we run as a business is the same that other businesses run. And it's the same thing. It's working with a team, it's having that work ethic. And those are all, you know, uh, great skills that you can come out of, early to middle to late education with, as long as you know, keep doing the work, stay motivated, and stay on top of things. And you'll come out better in the end. And it's going to be a lot easier when you do.
Right, right. Yeah, it's good to have had a few practice runs, right, before you get out into the real world per se.
Yeah.
So how about things like, and you don't have to answer specifically, but how about like deciding how much you're going to pay people and how you're going to do marketing and that kind of thing? How does that work?
It's a great question. I mean, it's really based on what the needs are for those that, yeah, because like I said, I in every decision that I make, I'm always putting them first. Um, so what are we capable of based on our financials? And that was something that was proven. We took a previous year as a baseline and kind of use that to educate the decision going forward for what do payments look like for this next year? Is that suitable for everybody? Does that work? Those kind of things like that, as well as marketing is a very, very great thing. Seems like you can almost never spend too much on marketing because it pays off. But really, it's finding the right way that's going to connect with your audience, and then what is that going to cost us? What's the best direction to go with there? Especially with trying to do your best to forecast what you think you're going to be able to get from these games that you're making. And that's a very tricky thing to do, especially right now. We're still in the midst of navigating that and figuring that out going forward. But we do as much as we can to, kind of envision how we could see a new game performing, what we can earn from it, and then use that to, because it's a calculation. It's like more marketing means possibly more revenue in the end. So we got to find the right balance so that we maximize both of them without going too much overboard on one of those. So that's what it looks like, really. Just making those calculations, trying to figure out the best balance on things.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. So Riley, I think you were going to kind of share the application of that a bit, how that works in the game Venture Valley. Do you have that?
Yeah. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Here we are. Yeah, and just like Josh was saying, there's never too much marketing. I'm a big proponent for that. And in Venture Valley, we actually have a marketing feature, which is our latest feature that we launched earlier this year. It's advanced marketing. So once you get down to the further levels in leveling up your business, you can do more marketing. You can start off with pamphlets and billboards, then move on to print and TV ads. And then from there, you get influencers and you get multimedia. So like movie trailers, whatever it be. And the higher you spend on marketing, the better you'll see your business perform. You can see also we have a translation for market penetration over here, and it shows you against the other teammates you're playing against to see who's really penetrating the market for certain businesses.
Right. I love how realistic this is. That, I just saw Josh kind of go like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's really great.
Thinking to myself, I wish I had something like this for my business.
Maybe we could figure out a way to plug it into the, instead of the robot factory, we've got 404 creative going. But I mean, look at all the factors you're looking at, the sales of the products, the overhead, the size of your market, the market penetration. I mean, this game is fantastic. And so that's why, it's a great simulation for students to do and to figure out, okay, as we said earlier, you're looking at kind of the trade-offs, Josh, right? Like you would love to pay everyone $1 bazillion a project, but you can't because you've got to be profitable. And you would love to market completely, but you can't because you've got to pay your employees and all of that. So all those trade-offs are really important to learn, and Venture Valley is a fantastic place to do that. We'll have to talk to the dev team on the Venture Valley side to see if they could come up with a simulation for your business, Josh.
Hey, maybe they want to make the same thing in Fortnite. We'll chat about it.
Oh, there we go. That sounds awesome. All right, we have a new project ahead. Check this out. All right. So one last question for you, Josh. We have high school students watching this. What advice do you have for them if they think what you do sounds cool, both as a game developer and also as an entrepreneur? Tips and tricks for someone still in high school.
Wow. Okay. Definitely looking back to my experience in high school and kind of the mindset that I was in at that age, the graduating and going out and working in college and everything seemed like this big dream that's like never going to show up. But then all of a sudden it does. And then you're just kind of, fast, you blink and then 5 years later and here you are. Something that I would definitely change with my approach to, my education at that time is taking it a little bit more seriously and recognizing that if you put in the work then you have to do less work to catch up once you're out of that, and realizing that it's a whole lot easier to put in the work then at that time in life than it is once you're an adult, and now you have all these adult responsibilities that you're learning as they go, which is a whole part of the thing. Like, I'm learning how to be an entrepreneur as I'm going, but you know college wasn't that too long ago for me, and since then I've also been learning, boy, how do you buy a house? How do you buy a car? What does that look like? Now I have to start paying my own taxes and my parents aren't doing that for me. All those things, there's a lot of challenges that show up in life. And if you're going the route of being an entrepreneur, or you have this deep embedded passion in a hobby of yours that has some sort of an opportunity. I mean, with technology today, with live streaming, with everything like that, YouTube, you can turn any hobby or any passion into a full-time career. It just kind of matters how much you want it and what you're willing to do to get there. And if you put in the work earlier, like I'm saying, it's just going to be a lot easier for you to be able to find that work ethic that you're going to need to be able to actually make it work once you're out of high school, out of college, and once you kind of decide to start this journey, if you choose.
Right. That's great advice. Um, Something that I always mention too is the importance of building a network and connections. And this live stream happening right now is an example of that. I met Josh at a conference, seemed like what he did was going to be relevant for something we were working on. And so, building that connection, I told him, hey, I have an idea for you. I'm going to come back to you. We're going to make this happen. And I appreciate that you were all on board with that. But even the connections that you can make when you're in high school and college, I'm going to say that adults are a lot more open to answering questions and being supportive and helpful when you're a student. So, you as a student right now could reach out to someone on LinkedIn and say, hey, I think I want to be an entrepreneur. What does that look like? They're more likely to give you some advice or to connect with you. Or if you say, our esports club is doing this thing and you work in that field, would you be interested in talking to us? You're going to get a positive response. As you get older, I think you have to earn it a little bit more. So take advantage. That's another thing. Take advantage of where you are in life right now. And even
Mhm.
right now, start building your network for what you think you might want to do someday. Even if you shift and you do something different, it still is always valuable to know people and make connections. So um, that's my 2 cents worth. Riley, do you have any 2 cents worth to give to students on
Yeah,
life
I
path?
completely agree with the same. Make connections wherever you can. I mean, I earlier in life I wanted to be a chemical engineer, and then I ended up in video game marketing. So I really pivoted there, but I found some people in the field, and video games have always been something I'm really passionate about. So really found my groove here.
That's awesome. Good to hear. Well, Josh, we so appreciate your joining us today and sharing your wisdom. Riley and I are going to take a couple minutes and go through sort of nuts and bolts on entering this challenge. So feel free to hop off and go about your busy schedule. And again, we just really appreciate that you've been part of this. And we'll see. We'll see if maybe we get some students who come up through the ranks and end up working for you at 404.
Definitely. I think there's going to be some job openings sometime in the future. So if you want to work on games in Fortnite, just keep an eye out. But I really appreciate the invitation to show up here and chat about my experience. Always happy to share my experience with anybody. I love when people ask me questions. So it's great to be able to show people what we're doing, and everybody's so interested in it, which I'm very grateful for. So I really appreciate the invitation. It's been a blast. And have a happy Halloween, everybody.
All right.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good. Thanks, Josh.
All right.
All right. So, for those of you who are entering the Beyond the Game challenge, we have right now from the date of this live stream. So I know a lot of you watch this recorded, so check your calendar because we have about a week and a half from when this is streaming. But final submissions are due November 10th, and then we're going to announce the winners on December 4th. So it is coming up quickly. It is definitely coming up quickly. And so then let's go ahead and I'm going to hop on over and go through a few of the specifics. Riley, how many teams can a school enter?
As many as they want. You can have a million if you really have them.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so if you're at a school and you see some of your friends are doing this, this challenge and you think it looks fun, go ahead and join. You can enter too. There is still time right now to join. And then how about tips and tricks? To everyone wants to win, right? I mean, we have gift cards up for grabs. So how can they get some ideas of how to get better?
Yeah, we have plenty of tips and tricks that are on the NASEF Venture Valley landing page. But beyond that, too, some of those videos come from our Venture Valley YouTube channel. We're Venture Valley Game on YouTube. And then we also post smaller tips and tricks. And then you can see more of our esports competitions on our Instagram page, also Venture Valley Game.
Okay, awesome. All right. Everybody always wants the insider tips. So those are always good to share.
Yes.
All right. Perfect. And then let's see, what else do we have here we want to talk about? So how to enter. First off, you're going to sign up. That's very simple, but you do need to have an adult sponsor or facilitator sign up your team. And then you're going to play the game. I guess I didn't put play the game in there because that sort of seems obvious, but don't forget to play the game in between sign up and recording the video.
Very important.
Yes, very important, because the point is to play Venture Valley. And you saw Josh's eyes widen like, wow, this game is awesome. This really does teach entrepreneurship. So you want to make sure you're joining that game. And then we have some questions that are in our guide for you to answer in your flip video or your written reflection. So don't just go off the cuff. Make sure that you are answering the questions so that you follow the rubric to see who's going to get the prizes. And then we're going to have you submit to the leaderboard. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this, and I'm going to share my screen and show you real quick. So this is what the leaderboard looks like. It's basically just a Google form. Sounds so fancy, doesn't it? But it's a Google form. So you're going to go in and you're going to add the same information you had when you signed up, the adult facilitator and the name of your team. And then we're looking for you to answer. There's going to be one of these three scores. So we talked about this earlier, either valuation, revenue, or sales. And we want to take a screenshot of the score. So when you play the game, make sure you take a screenshot and capture it. And then you're going to upload that. And then we're going to have you also include the link to the video that you do in Flip. And as we mentioned, you can do the video, or we had some people say, hey, we'd rather do a written reflection, and that's completely fine. So if you want to do that, you're going to add that file here, and then there's the all-important submit button. So we're going to submit, and then that is how you get added to the leaderboard. And I know even though our deadline isn't for another week and a half, we already have seen some scores come in on the leaderboard. So I'm not going to say what they are yet, but we are getting some entries. So make sure you follow through on that step. And then on Flip as well, just show this page just in case you're not familiar with what Flip looks like. Flip, again, is a free app that you can access. And the link to this Flip page is on the Venture Valley page. And so you're going to go in and you're just going to, if you need some information, you can click on this one, welcome to the challenge. But otherwise, whichever area you are entering, you add the file right here. So if it's going to be highest business valuation, most revenue generated, or sold the most product. So you can share this with your teammates, and then you click right here to get started recording a video. And I'm not going to do that because we'll end up with the funky picture-in-picture thing. But you're going to go ahead and click this, and then the video tool comes up, and it's very self-explanatory, particularly because we have all these high school students participating. So they are all going to know how to record a video and submit it. So those are the instructions. Sign up, play the game, send your information in onto the leaderboard and upload either your video or your written reflection.
It's great too. The game is free. You can play it on mobile and PC. We're available on the Apple App Store and the Android Marketplace, the Google Play Store. So there's no excuses. You can play anywhere.
Right. Anywhere at any time. You can play while you're sitting in the car waiting for your mom. Will she ever finish grocery shopping? You
Yes,
could be working on this. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. And then let's see. Again, everything that you need to know is on that Venture Valley webpage. We have lots of links. Riley, can you just remind us what the Venture Valley pages are if they're looking for tips and tricks or other information?
Yeah, all of our social media pages, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Threads, we're Venture Valley Game on there. The most tips and tricks you'll be able to find is on YouTube, and then we have on TikTok and Instagram as well. Instagram is great. We have a lot of, we've been having a lot of esports competitions with college students. So if you get inspired, you can see all the excitement that we have over there as well.
Awesome. I love it. And then, of course, we're always available to support. If you have any questions, you can email us. And I'm going to drop these. I've dropped a few comments in the chat here, but I'm going to go ahead and drop both NASEF and Venture Valley. We both have links that you can follow to email us if you have specific questions. So do that or find us on social media. So Riley, thanks for your time today also. And this has been really fun. So again, we're counting down to that deadline, November 10th. So let's make sure we get those entries in so we can get together, and we're going to choose based on the combo of the highest score in those 3 categories and the explanation of the videos. And we'll be announcing the winners in early December. So thanks everyone for joining us. Next time we see you, we're going to be announcing winners.
Yay.
All right. Thank you.